Hello everyone, welcome back to game 3 of Cure versus Reynor, and we've got a bit of a puzzler here right from the outset. We're on Pillars of Gold again. Now this is not the same game, I can confirm, but for some reason in this replay pack this map appears twice and they appear right after each other. I don't know for what reason they played the same map again, but that's where we're at, guys. It's probably something to do with me and the download pack not being quite right, but hey ho, we're here back on Pillars of Gold for Reynor versus Cure. Game 3, we're currently 2-0 to Reynor after seeing some really good link counter attacks, flanks, and a big stoppage of a 2-base all-in that Cure tried. Will Cure go for the same thing again, or is he going to diversify? You'd have to think he probably should try something different, as his last build really didn't work out for him. So we have down here in the bottom left, blue Zerg, Reynor, top right, red Cure. Cure being a Korean Terran player who's had some success in GSL and other tournaments, but hasn't quite hit there as like the top tier Terran. But he's still quite young, I think, and has a way to go. Reynor, on the other hand, is rising currently to become one of the greatest of all races, but certainly one of the greatest Zergs of all time, and recently beat Maru, another top Korean figures, beat Cyril before in online tournaments as well. So Reynor really, there's not many people left that he hasn't beaten, and he's really starting to prove himself as one of the greatest StarCraft 2 players of his generation. So interesting to see what we're going to go here. In all the games, Reynor has done very little overlord scouting into the main base, preferring to just scout heavily his immediate vicinity of his base to look for proxies. I play Zerg, as some of you will know, and I pretty much always send an overlord over next to immediately just to scout what's going to happen here. Are they going to build a Reaper? Are they going to build a tech lab? Are they going to build a reactor? Are they going to build a factory? Are they going to build a second barracks? But Reynor always comes across that quite slow, and we've seen that consistently in all of his games. As the Reaper comes in here, trying to get one. Nice little boop up. Ooh, but builds it as a spore crawler just in time. Just in time. And cancels it. And shouldn't be any losses here. Good pulling back with the red ones. And it's a stalemate. Good micro from both sides. So going back to what I was saying, Reynor has not been scouting as quickly as perhaps others would, or I would, but his build has been a kind of all-rounded catch-all build, where he's going for an economic defensive build, so he's getting his third base. He builds a lot of queens, he builds a lot of lings and banelings, and that pretty much covers everything that Terran can do early. Mainly it's the queen that really holds it down. Interestingly, the GSL finals was played recently, and Maru was interviewed beforehand, and he said, if you think 2 racks pushes are OP, then you need to nerf queens, because queens I can just be relied on for all matchups against all units in the early game, and they really are fantastic catch-all units. And if you're a new player and you play Zerg and you're not building 6 to 8 to 10 queens a game, then try it out, and it's really going to improve your defensive capabilities and your ability to spread creep. So here comes 2 Hellions. So we're seeing a divergence from Cure from the last game. The last game we went a 2 Rex Marine based play, but here we've got 4 Hellions coming and a Viking. The more standard opener these days. Meanwhile, we've got Zergling speed. We've got pretty much full drone saturation at the 2 bases from Reynor, more drones coming. So it looks like he's going to take the same defensive posture and just look to defend with an economic advantage behind. Meanwhile, we have a Liberator coming out as the Viking moves around to catch Overlords. We could get this one. Something else the Queens can help with. Will they get there in time? They've got to travel this non-creep area. I think he gets it. Unless there's a transfuse, which there isn't. Nice. So great value. The value of this as well is drawing the attention and clearing the vision for future pushes and for this push. Ooh, decides not to go for it. Goes for the building creep tumor. Interesting. He might well have lost his Hellions if we dived in, so taking the slightly more cautious route and just taking free value. And looks like we missed the Viking over here, but the Viking got destroyed by one of these queens whilst almost getting an Overlord. But hopefully that has set the stage for this Liberator now, as Reynor feels safe on this eastern flank. Having dealt with the Viking threat, he won't expect the Liberator threat. And at the same time, the Hellions are coming in around the top. Good multi-pronged harassment going on from Cure here, as the Liberator sets up. The Queens clear this out. And he gets 3 SCVs. Drones, sorry. Which is fine. Didn't lose any units, that's the key. And behind he's going full bio. He's got his 2 engineering bays, 4 barracks coming down. And Reynor's going for the +1/+1 for ground, which we've seen him do in multiple games now. Needs to be really careful not to get these surrounded here. But doing a good job of just picking off value and picking off units wherever he can. Maybe a scan here, yeah, to get rid of some of the creep. Not the greatest scan actually, just getting 1. But you'll take it. Killing that creep is super important for Terran if they ever want to push out, because you cannot safely engage a Zergon creep with all the vision it provides, speed boost, everything else. And the Liberator gets an Overlord. You don't often see that. 4 kills on this Liberator, 3 drones, and an Overlord. Good work. Go back to base. Hellions coming in now again. Not going to do much, I can predict, because there's no prong. There is no second prong. Here they come. Just going for the creep tumors. It's really, really, really good. Really useful. Look how, you know, the creep is good, but it's not, you know, if there wasn't this interruption, it could easily be, you know, this instead, which is just a whole different game. This channel will be, you know, has creep. This channel has creep near it. This channel has creep near it. It's Terran is feeling really oppressed in that situation. And I think often, you know, younger, less experienced Terran players, when they build units like this, dropships or Hellions or whatever, they feel like they have to get value from them. They have to do damage. They have to kill loads of units. They have to kill queens. They have to kill drones, and they'll overcommit their forces. But actually, you can see here, you don't need to do that at all. Getting creep tumors is pretty much the best you can hope for, and it's also great for your strategy, and really, really helpful in many subtle ways. But just going in, picking off whatever he can, but retaining all of his units, that's the key. And I think that's what a lot of new Terran players struggle with, is retaining units. Because they are very squishy, 55 HP. So Cure really retaining his units, and now he can push out Widowmines, Marines, and all the Hellions from before. I think he lost 1 in total. And now his push is going to be really, really interesting, and there's no creep around. So Reynor doesn't see it coming. He just his vision starts here. But he has a lot of Zerglings coming. A lot of Zerglings and Banelings behind, and Queens. This is just like we've seen in all the other games. But this time, Cure has got Hellbats and Widowmines. Hellbats trying to get a good spread. Banelings coming in very, very hot. Marines could win this potentially. No, they have to pick up more Banelings. So you see that Cure is definitely changing his strategy somewhat. He's going for kind of an anti-Ling Blaine composition of Hellbats, Widowmines, although his Hellbats are all dead now. But Widowmines is much better than siege tanks against this kind of composition. The siege tanks can be just too slow firing. So Cure's adapting. He's responding to Reynor. He's trying to try something different, and that's a sign of a great player and as somebody who really wants to win a best of 7. This is a best of 7. So with this attack down in the south being stopped pretty totally, the creep has started to spread now in the north and west areas of the map, and Cure's coming in to clear that out now. Being very diligent about keeping the creep down, and it's going to really be to his advantage. 4 Widowmines trying to get in here, but there is 3 Spore Crawlers ready to stop that. As we see, Reynor has no real anti-air. Widowmine shots were not fantastic there. Got a few, but not a lot. Nothing to write home about. Probably more upset about the loss of that many Widowmines. Another drop coming in from this side. This is Marines here, just chilling. Going for the triple prong or just double prong harass. Let's go. But yeah, now we see Reynor getting some anti-air. He's going for the Hydra-based players, so he's not going for muters. Having seen all the Widowmines with Marines, seems like a pretty sensible idea. But instead he's going for Hydras and Lurker Den. So we're going to see some Lurker-based play. And I don't know how I feel about Lurker-based play. We've got some nice cancel here. We've seen Dark Dark in GSL play Lurker-based style against Terran, and it worked okay. In some cases it looks kind of silly to me, but in some cases the way Dark used it in one of the games, it kind of worked. Very heavily, like high harass, multiple prong, Nidus base, lots of drops. It can be very, very difficult and disruptive for the Terran to deal with. And really the counter to the Lurkers is tanks, and of course Cura has gone a Widowmine-based style, so it's a good choice from Reynor. We're seeing a lot of skirmishes here, Cura trying to get things done, Reynor defending. It's all very very even. It's a bit of a wash, really. It's just trading units. No economic change in particular. There was a cancel here, but it's minor. As this little force comes in here. Really, really appreciate Cure's multi-prong here. Is doing him wonders. I would like to see a third prong of harass, if it's possible. And here we go. The first test of the Lurkers. Oh, they're going to fail miserably. Yeah, you see, this is the challenge of the Lurkers. They're not actually that good, just heads up, against Terran. But if you can split them off, if you can drop them, like get a couple dropped here or Nidus here with like 7 Lurkers here, that's terrifying. And just have like 3 or 4 behind a defensive position to defend. Oh! Cure not watching his army there because there's an attack coming in here, but the switch to tanks has taken place, and so these Hydras will be beaten back. As we see upgrades coming in for Lurkers. And the dreaded Adrenal Glands upgrade, which turns Zerglings into devastating damage dealers. Adrenal is really surprising to me every time, just how much damage it does. This base really struggling to get established. But this base is doing very well. The double expand, if one of these can get up, that should be fine. That should be enough for Reynor. Huge counterattacks coming in, but great defense out already. This is going to do very little. Reynor needs to be very careful. Just losing it. Ooh! The indecision. The indecision was very poor there. But he's bought a lot of time and attention to get these Banelings in on this side. There's not a great deal of workers here. Goes for the PF, goes for the siege tank. Takes 5 workers as well. Not bad. Not bad. But Command Center gets floating in. Straight on, you know, it's much of a muchness. This is Legacy of the Void, where money flows like wine. Ooh, a few units here going to get caught off as the Zerglings come in. The Lurkers are going to assassinate that. But there is a big Terran force here. And actually fighting in these odd forces is very much the Terran way of doing things. Ooh, beautiful spread on the Lurkers here, just surrounding that Terran army, but picks up, pulls them back. And now he needs to sort of use the siege tanks to leapfrog his way forward. Ooh, as a Nidus, double Nidus comes out in the main. 2 Niduses, just harder to interrupt them. And out comes a Lurker with them as well. Can he clear away the Marines? No. So I think this is a great choice by Reynor. And oh, let's jump back. Really good decision by Reynor. This is what we saw Dark doing. This is what I think it was what Reynor doing in a different series, actually, if my memory serves. So as the double Nidus goes in, we see some jockey for position in the middle. Cure just cleans up a few banelings, okay. It wasn't that impactful. And this bot side is undefended again. And Cure's going to get another shot here to take down both of these expansions, which he's been doing over and over and over again for like 10 minutes now. This Nidus incredibly close to getting up. Look how low those units are. Ghost coming in with snipes. Siege tanks, marauders, marines. Just this bottom side cannot stay established. Ooh, the snipes are huge. Oh, the ghosts are so good against the lurkers. That's huge value. Meanwhile, the blinding cloud. Let's take it back quickly. So Reynor's here with some lurkers, some banelings, some lings. And where are these vipers? Where are these vipers? There's the vipers. Here we go. Blinding clouds on the tanks. Oh, it's pretty late on them there. But they are very effective, getting 3 tanks there. And all the ghosts will go down as well. Potentially. Don't think there quite has detection there. And Reynor manages to clear this out, but at what cost? He's lost both of these bases again. And slowly, this is starting to add up. The first cancel is not that impactful, but the 4th cancel is very impactful. Can he unload some Zerglings here? He has literally 3 Zerglings in the Nidus. Excuse me. Sorry, I just had to clear my throat. So as he pushes the counter-attack, as he pushes the attack out, he's counter-attacking with the majority of his forces here, Reynor. Just adrenal lings, not even any banelings really, just lings. It's lings and lurkers. You get the lings to lock them in position, surround them, bury your lurkers, and they do work. Can Terran actually stabilize here? Certainly with the way production is designed on Terran, you can be caught out sometimes with just not enough units. It's constant Niduses into the main, just really causing lots of problems. And Reynor just takes this base and this base potentially, which I think is just a good idea. Just take the whole map. If he kills the bottom side, you've got the top side. If he kills the top side, you've got the bottom side. But yeah, Cure has really done well to stay in this game. He just is a little bit caught off guard here right now. He just needs a couple of minutes just to get his feet under him again. And he'll be alright. This is probably the most dangerous time of the game for him right now. The ghosts come forward. Can they get their snipes off? Ooh, that's a lot of lurkers that are getting hit very hard. Ooh. 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 Perhaps. Interesting. GG, says Cure, as the double Nidus comes in. Just can't clear out these lurkers here. As this force comes around for a counter-attack, and Cure just exasperated, I think. Where was the moment? The moment was near here. Yeah, here we go. So he came down for this big push. He wiped out this base. Set up a defensive point in the choke. Went and killed this base as well. Yeah. And now he needs to just get out. Loses everything to the engage. Loses all his tanks. Production's making some ghosts right now. Where's his reinforcements? Yeah, like here. And here. Here we go. What happens to these guys? They all just walk out across the map. And immediately go and fight the army. But it's just too much Zergling here. And he just loses this core reinforcement bit. And once you've lost that, your units are actually got no units. You can only produce them like 1 round at a time. All he's got is these medevacs. And then there's just units drizzling out. And, you know, Terran just caught off guard. This is one of the weaknesses of Terran production. If you don't have it all humming constantly. Like if you kept this force here, and then he's humming from that position, he's holding. And he's okay. But because he ran it out and lost those units completely for nothing, he can't recover. It's not a Zerg or a Protoss that can warp in like 10 units or build like 100 Zerglings in one production round. So yeah, I feel that's quite unfortunate for Cure. He played a good game. He showed some innovation, and he certainly got things done, cancelling these bases down here on multiple occasions. But Zergo P, right? Catch you in the next one. Peace.